Aliens Fireteam Elite 2 launches on August 25th on PS5, Xbox, Steam, and the Epic Games Store. On LV558, your squads have grown to up to 4 players, so enemies and encounters have grown in scale. But don't worry, you and your squad can use the elements to stop xenomorphs and synths. Burn or freeze xenomorphs in their tracks. Electricity may not help, but electricity can help with other baddies instead. And it is even easier to get a team going because the game is cross-platform at launch. Not only can you expect an overhauled experience from the original game, but you and your team can engage with a story with heavy stakes. But that's not it, y'all, because you and your squad can partake in a new horde mode to take on waves and waves of xenomorphs, synths, and who knows what else. See ya on LV558.
Hey everybody, welcome to Game Mess Mornings with me, Jeff Grubb, your host from giantbomb.com. Big shout out to videogame.town for supporting our live streams this week. We are brought to you by videogame.town. Go over there. It's a new independent video game website with a lot of cool people writing cool stuff. You should go check it out. That's videogame.town. We'll have more about that in our break. Thank you for tuning in. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the return of everyone's favorite foreign policy that makes gaming more expensive, and NVIDIA's newest tech leaks and looks weird. It's going to be a good one because we have Jason Fanelli on the show. Jason, how are you doing?
Hello, Jeff Grubb. For the first time in 3 weeks, it is a Fanelli Friday. This will be a grand Fanelli Friday, as it is the grand finale of a Grand Theft Auto-fueled week. There are some things to talk about before and after, but I suspect we will be spending a lot of time in Vice City, just like everybody else. And We'll talk about the fatigue of everybody spending time in Vice City, too, I'm sure. But yes, great to be here after a couple weeks.
You've returned from the mountains.
I am. I am back from my mountain journey. Now, we love it up there. It's just so nice and serene to wake up and just see the lake, sipping your coffee. That's what my wife does every morning when we're up there. We went on a train. I love going on the train.
Yeah.
It just kind of goes for 35 minutes, stops in the middle of nowhere and goes back. But man, it's just nice to see all that like undisturbed nature. There's one shot in particular where you get the river over the bridge with the trees on either side. It's wonderful. Good to reconnect with nature once in a while.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm happy you were able to do so. I think we're going to do one more small little weekend getaway here in probably early October. So maybe we'll go out to the mountains ourselves. They're not too far from us if we go that way. Maybe we go out to Holiday Valley or something. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm glad you're back. Glad you're here. Glad for another Fanelli Friday. And as you said, there's plenty to talk about. So let's get started with everything. And by explaining ourselves, we're Giant Bomb. Go to giantbomb.com/join. Become a premium member. If you do, you're going to be getting a couple of cool things alongside the satisfaction of supporting independent games media. Of course, ad-free versions of all of our shows. But also today, 6 p.m., you can be a part of the Weekend Rental Club, the video game, or the Giant Bomb Video, the rental store from out of space and time, will be opening up. We're going to go in there, rent a few games that never existed for the N64, and have a really cool premium exclusive stream at 6 p.m. This is after UPF, everybody. We'll be hanging out for, a bit of time. We're going to play through all these games. We're going to have Jolt Cola, Dunkaroos. Maybe I'll order pizza for someone if they win one of these video games that we're playing. We'll see. It's going to be a good, chill, fun hangout that you kind of can't get anywhere else. So go to giantbomb.com/join. Become a premium member. Thank you to everyone who has. It means the world. It encourages me to come up with dumb ideas like this and make them happen. As far as this show goes, most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS feed on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with the White House. Oh, good. Oh man. Favorite way to start a new segment is considering yet another semiconductor tariff plan. The Trump administration is considering a new round of semiconductor tariffs, according to Politico. Citing 8 people familiar with the discussions, one proposal would go considerably beyond charging duties on individual imported chips and apply them to finished products containing those chips, specifically including game consoles, laptops, and data center servers. Now, this is not yet an enacted policy. The framework is reportedly still fluid and could change over the coming weeks or months. But why? After all this time, would we assume it would get better if it changed? It's just going to get worse. That's how this always goes. So that's where my pessimism is landing with the story so far. Everybody's favorite Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick reportedly favors tying tariffs exemptions to how much semiconductor production a company commits to building in the United States. Basically, manufacture more chips domestically and get a larger duty-free import allowance. A phased introduction is also reportedly being discussed. Cool, yeah, man, build more chips in the United States. Such an easy thing to say. Nintendo doesn't make their own chips. They work with other vendors. They're not going to build a factory to produce systems on a chip in the United States. They don't do that anywhere. And it would be extraordinarily difficult to do that here. So this is just one of these things where, again, they don't understand what they're talking about. They're just going to end up causing things to cost more. Of course, this matters to Switch 2, PS5, Xbox hardware, because those things have chips in them, and they already have a bunch of reasons why they cost more. So why not add yet another major one to the pile? People might be remembering Jay say, aren't the tariffs supposed to be, illegal? The Supreme Court ruled on that. And those were different tariffs. They're trying a different mode this time, a different legal theory to get around them. And these will have to be challenged separately. But man, that dumb bitch in the White House loves tariffs so much, and they are so stupid that when you explain it to anybody, everyone goes, oh, why would anyone do that? And then he does more and more and more and more. And I can't believe we're back here.
He just loves the smell of his own farts, doesn't he? He just wants to act to say that he did it. He has no goddamn idea what these things are or what they do. He just likes the word. He just likes the word tariff. He just likes the way that it feels.
He said as much. He's like, oh, my favorite word in the English language, tariff. Like, what a weird thing to say.
It's such a goddamn weird thing. And yeah, if I'm Nintendo or Sony or even Microsoft, who does their business, they are a US-based company, and they are on the PR restoration train to end all PR restoration trains that I have ever seen. If I'm any of these companies, or even all three of them, we have to come together, and we've got to say to these, we got to say to these people, look, what the hell are you doing? What are you, like, we already had to, for in Microsoft's case, release a special 25th anniversary Xbox that we were really excited for $900 goddamn this week, which then immediately got scalped. I don't know if you saw those scalping prices, $2,500, $3,000. Yeah. And they have to, look, you have to end this. You have to explain to him, or explain to someone who can dumb it down to him, I suppose, why this doesn't make sense, why tariffs are not what they do. And then, of course, he's going to do them anyway, so it's a fruitless cause. But I guess the companies don't care, because they're going to pay the tariffs, and then they're going to get refunded for them when they become illegal, and you and I and the folks in chat and the other people who will watch us later will never see any of that money again. We'll have already paid it, and the wheel will just keep on spinning. It's fucking depressing, and it just makes this more expensive than it needs to be.
Yep, and it's it is on again, off again, and these companies have seemingly found some success in navigating that in terms of we'll raise the price, and then if these things get returned or get overturned or completely repealed, maybe we get our money back, and then we get to keep the prices high. Even these companies don't want to keep doing that. For as much as they might be able to raise the price and then get a big a windfall of money like they did recently when they got the returns from the previous tariffs, which was massive for many of these companies, billions of dollars for Apple, billions of dollars for Nintendo. That's nice. And then they get to keep the prices high. They don't want the prices to go higher anymore. They have to, especially Nintendo's is still early in its generation. It's in the user acquisition phase. All of these friction points, all these things that cause the price to go up, is another hurdle they have to solve. And they already feel like, for many people, those hurdles are becoming too numerous, and the prices are becoming too high. And they're pushing out a huge portion of the audience that might just never tune back in, because they're going to associate this with a luxury business that does not welcome people that can't quite afford it. And there's no reason to think that's going to shift and go back to being like, all right, we're going to start slashing prices once we can figure all this out. There's no reason to assume that. And we are far away from them being able to figure it all out. Right, Jason?
Yeah, there's not really any incentive to do it right now because they could figure it out only for this idiot to throw another obstacle in front of them.
It's too uncertain.
They have to wait until all of the volatility is gone, if that ever happens. Wait for the the correct place on the 80-year-old dartboard to receive the dart, as opposed to the rest of this week. And then once things start to settle, then decide how they're going to act once things start to show like how they may end up. Right?
Mhm.
It's so asinine. And it's just one more complication on top of a shit salad of nightmarish bullshit that this industry has been since we're going on almost 5 years now, right?
Mhm.
It's just a brutal. I just can't find the words. I can't wrap my head around it. It's
Yep.
so dumb.
It's it's very frustrating, and for sure, the one thing we can guarantee here is that these companies might be able to make some of these things work for them again, like they did with the windfall of return of the tariffs. The losers for sure will be all the rest of us. Anyone
for
who's
sure.
trying to engage in this hobby as a hobby, anyone's collecting, if that's your hobby, is collecting games and hardware and stuff. There's going to be more people rushing into the retro scene to get away from all this, so that stuff will continue to go up in price. It's just going to hurt us at every possible corner, every possible angle, and when we get on the other side of it, we will see no restitution. It will just continue to be awful, but and maybe in a more dull way at that point. And that's the best we can hope for. So it's very, very frustrating to see that we're back here, especially when it's not like the memory shortage, the storage shortage. Whether these things have not cleared up, they are just going to continue getting worse. So there was already pressures causing prices to go up, and this would be yet another one. All right, looks like you could try DLSS 5, which is out today, if you are willing to go find some like hacked version of it and insert it into your games. This is from Dave James at PC Gamer. We know that DLSS 5 is due to arrive with us in the autumn, but that release date feels a lot closer, with specific files being picked out of an early access version of NBA 2K27 and dropped into Remedy's control. The files in question have been found in the 2K Ball Tossing Titles PC version, which is currently playable for gamers who purchase the deluxe and or ultra editions, and a modder from the Renault DX team has managed to inject it into control with sliders. And while I'm likely to be pilloried for saying so, I'm kind of impressed with the changes at the level of control you have. It does. I think that is the one thing where it's like there is a lot of control over this stuff, so you like can set the aggressiveness. But people are showing off a lot of versions of this that looks to me real bad, real weird at the very least. I do think control. It was a Jesse Fade in control. I think it looks strange, like in terms of, this is that neural filter going over the character that feels like it's changing the character and not just revealing more detail that was there. It's adding detail that was never there in the first place. And that gets really weird when this starts popping up in a bunch of other games, because there wasn't only control that this got inserted into. People were putting it into Final Fantasy VII, and there's some weird results there. Did you see this picture of Cloud?
It's the reason I couldn't get my words out in the previous story. It was just staring daggers into my soul with his dead eyes. It looks like somebody said to me, it looks like Eminem's going to go fight Shinra. And somebody else
like
said
Cloud
to me,
is going to go fight Shinra, but in her Subaru is what it looks like.
Speak to Shinra's manager Sephiroth.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what are we doing here? Claude Strife. Good job, Kane Highwind. You win.
This is
Claude Strife. That's fantastic.
This is the kind of thing where look, this is looking very strange, but we have to point out none of this is official. All of this stuff has been applied to these games through a hacked way. So it's not no one from these companies has so far been like, this is what we want it to look like, or we're okay with it looking this way. But this is a reminder of what this tech does.
Fair, but this is also what this tech was shown off at.
That's right.
When it was revealed, and Capcom didn't know that this was going to happen to Grace from Resident Evil Requiem. My main issue with this, who was it for? What is the point? I don't want my game to look like that. I don't need my video game characters to look like actual human beings. I am a fan of the uncanny valley, right? I like that slight degree of separation. Mm-hmm. I don't need this. I don't want this. No, who wants this? I'm genuinely curious. Find me someone who is excited about this that does not work within the walls of NVIDIA. I just do not understand why this is necessary. That is my core. I mean, it's not other than it's AI, and AI can, get shoved up its ass. I just don't understand what this is about. The shareholders and investors, right? I mean, okay.
Here's the thing: is like I think once it's out there and people are using it, we're going to find that it's not for very many people, because there is another side to this, and that is it destroys performance. At least that's what's happened with this hacked in version of DLSS 5. I believe in Final Fantasy, people when they were using it, they turned it on. It was just being applied to the character models, and it was noticeable. Visually, it's noticeable. And then the other thing that's even more noticeable than that is it runs like dog shit. It goes from 70 to 80 frames per second to 35 frames per second. So more than cut in half in terms of frames per second. And I think we know that amount of performance cost is the kind of thing that people just be like, no, thanks. I really, even if I did want this, even if I was someone that looked at this and sort of said, I have no taste. Give me this weird AI slop. Even those people will not turn it on if it's going to cut the performance of the game in half, especially on PC, which is where this is only going to work. They revealed it earlier this year. There was a major backlash. I'm kind of like waiting to see how they reintroduce it. Right now, it seems like they're testing it in NBA, although who knows if how much that really is affecting things.
Thanks, LeBron.
I know, it's always LeBron, right?
Always LeBron. Actually, I like LeBron now. So
of course you do. Yeah. But yeah, it's we'll see. We'll see how they reintroduce it. But right now, it doesn't feel like this is going to, like, if it comes out looking like this, performing like this, I wouldn't be surprised if NVIDIA's just like, it's here anyway. And like that's the whole thing, because
we did it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Being able to actually bring up the excitement around this doesn't seem like a real viable thing at this moment.
Yeah, no, the lack of, I play games for them to perform. I don't give a shit. I mean, I like when games look nice, don't get me wrong, but I don't need Cloud to look like this. I don't need Jesse Faden to look exactly like her mocap actress. Right. I don't need that. I need to hear what she's saying and shoot hiss. That's what I want to do, and that's where my priorities lie. I honestly think you're right. I think they're just gonna be like, hey, we did it anyway. Here's the new thing that we're more worried about that you need to support us with, and that'll be the end of that.
This really did happen very fast, by the way. It was discovered, and 5 hours later that Reno DX had a tool available for everybody, and that was specifically for Control. But then since then they put it in Skyrim, and there's a video of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Like, of course, it's the swimsuit scene. So,
what else would it be? And you know what? Maybe that's it. Maybe there's just a bunch of people of NVIDIA who are goons, and that's just why they want it.
Yep.
Which I don't. Fuck you. Go away.
The thing is, like, a lot of DLSS technology is awesome. DLSS 4.5 really got there with all the stuff they were going for in the preceding years in terms of ray tracing and dealing with the ray tracing dithering and then using reconstruction on top of that to sort of blend that all together in a way that just looked mind-blowing. That's been great for years now. And then the sort of frame reconstruction tools, so that they can keep the frame rate high when you do have ray tracing all turned on, which is something that previously had really destroyed performance. All that stuff was admirable, and it was like, oh yeah, they have really great software and technology over at NVIDIA for delivering these kinds of improvements. And that's cool. I hope they keep doing that. And this does feel like, oh, we are derailing the car to go in a different direction now. And this is not what people were talking about when they get excited about DLSS. And it seems like the main feature of 5. So, yeah, very frustrating.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. We'll see we'll see how they reintroduce that, what it looks like at that point on an official level. But it does feel like this is going to be what the technology actually does and actually looks like. Man, Claude, you gotta stop staring at us. All right, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna get into the Grand Theft Auto 6 details a little bit more. I know we've done a lot, so we're not gonna go over the whole presentation that happened yesterday or anything like that. But we got a couple of stories worth bringing up, tidbits that people will want to know. We'll go over like where the conversation is at this point. While we take this break, you could always skip out on these ad messages if you go to giantbomb.com/join and become a premium member. You can get the ad-free version of the audio and video show there. In the meantime, let's go hear about videogame.town.
This episode is brought to you by videogame.town. videogame.town is an independent media site where you can find fascinating articles, podcasts, and videos created by the best and brightest in video game journalism. In order to escape the industry is currently in, videogame.town proudly presents the best in gaming coverage, joined by plenty of familiar faces: Khalif Adams, Jenna Stieber, Merritt K, Ian Walker, and more.
videogame.town is run by two friends, Grant and Jared, who bring their decades of experience covering games, movies, tech, and memes. They deliver the kind of analysis, editorials, podcasts, videos, rankings, and nerdy ephemera that you can't find elsewhere. So check them out at videogame.town and be sure to subscribe to their Video Game Town Hall series wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to support the return of fully independent web media, you can directly support at patreon.com/videogametown for exclusive articles and podcasts.
videogame.town.
videogame.town. videogame.town. All right, we're back with Game Mess Mornings. There's Jason Fanelli. I'm Jeff Grubb. We continue on here. That Grand Theft Auto 6 reveal did happen yesterday. We also got a bunch of previews from people who got to go see it played in front of them at Rockstar. So no hands-on gameplay, but people have witnessed it being played, and they reported back, and they were able to ask questions. And so we have a lot of information. Before we get into that, though, did you watch the Netflix thing? What'd you think?
I did. I watched the as it was live. I was there right at 3:00 for Netflix to crash for 30 seconds. I thought that was going to be how it went. I thought it was more Grand Theft Auto, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I have to echo what some guys on this show called Game Mess Decides were talking about last night. It seems as though if you're not like chomping at the bit to have it injected into your veins right this very moment, that you're wrong. And that's silly, right? I was enthused by it. I don't like the fact that my namesake talks like he's got a napkin in his fucking mouth.
He does sound like he's got marbles in there.
I would like that to change somehow. I don't know how they're going to do that, but I like the way they tease the dynamic between the two. I like that, like, he's upstairs in the one scene trying to save the guy, and she's downstairs trying to get away from everything that's happening down there. I like that whole scene was an homage to Die Hard. If you remember the scene from Die Hard, I like the it's not Stephen Root yet. Stop saying it's Stephen Root guy who looks like Kevin Sullivan. He seems interesting. I like the
Taskmaster.
Exactly. I like the different, like it did what I expected it to do. I expected to be interested in the stories that they were telling and the people that we were meeting, and the gameplay was exactly what I thought it would be. It's the same thing that they've been doing since Grand Theft Auto 5 and
but
Red
a lot
Dead
of it.
2.
But a lot of it. Right? Yes.
And I'm interested in, like, not so much in the main story, which I am interested in. I'm curious if they'll do what they did with Red Dead, where it was segmented into chapters based on where your base of operations were and what part of the map you were on. This map is apparently, and I'm not sure if it's in your bullet points, so I don't want to spoil anything. It might not be. Oh, there it is. Twice as big as Grand Theft Auto 5's and 3 times as big as Red Dead 2's. That's humongous. There were little snippets of things that could be side activities that we don't know yet. There was backyard fucking wrestling. And if I can do the Florida indie scene as some professional indie wrestler, that rules.
Yeah, but
that's the thing. That.
It's like, yeah, it's bigger, but it's more dense. And that, I think that had to be the expectation going in. So the fact that they sort of met the expectation is where I come away like, okay, like this, they lived up to the bargain of you had all this time, you have all this money, and it's more Grand Theft Auto, and it better look expensive. And it does, but it had to do that. Like it has no other choice. Because anything less than that would have been like, what did you spend all this time doing? This is a disappointment. It is not a disappointment. It's just doing exactly what we thought it would, because what other choice do they have other than more Grand Theft Auto, make it more dense, more like side missions and things to do than ever before, because of course, that's the one thing that they can reliably deliver on, because they're not going to change the whole thing. Now, there are some changes that I found promising. I talked about this. This was probably on the sides, but there was some reporting that you can take multiple pathways to solve some of these quests, and that makes it more unpredictable for them testing, they said. To me, that sounds like one of my biggest criticisms of recent but especially recent games from Rockstar, like Red Dead Redemption 2, where you saddle the wrong horse and you get a game over screen. If that still happens in this game, that's absurd. That is, that is a backward way of making games, period, let alone the most expensive game of all time. You can't give us all this freedom, give us all this possibility space, and then if we deviate from your tiny little path a little bit, we can be like, well, the game just it can't handle that, guys. Don't be upset. It's like, sure, that's how games worked 25 years ago. That's not where my expectation level is for the most expensive game ever made. But it sounds like maybe they're addressing it. It sounds like they knew that was a criticism and that they can handle that. Okay, that's me like perked up a little bit more. There is some like other details here, like you said, the map is twice as big. Lucia and Jason's relationship can change. It's not necessarily like strictly they are in love. You can it is a system. So if you put effort into it, they could fall more in love. If you sort of do things to actively push them apart, they can fall out of love, they can break up, but none of that will affect the story, because they're sort of just partners in crime, and then whether or not they are partners romantically is a separate
now,
thing,
I wonder if it won't change the story, but if it will change their efficiency.
Or provide access to different endings, maybe, right?
Yeah, maybe. Or even if that's like a part of the honor system. Whatever the honor system is in this game, right? So if you're nice to her, or if you're nice to him, depending on which one you're picking, and you build that relationship up, that's considered high honor or low honor if you're just kind of jerking them around. I like that the gym stuff is back. Yep, I said it. I like the gym stuff is back from San Andreas. Right. The fuel, which was talked about earlier this week, you have to put gas in your car. That's the kind of realism I want in my Grand Theft Auto.
You have to charge electric vehicles as well.
But apparently, that's some good stuff. I like the fact that random social media people just might walk up to you and be like, "Hey," and I can be a jerk to them, which is what I want to do in real life.
Challenge that was actually pretty clever. Like that was fun. I think that in 5 or 10 years, the nature of social media will probably have changed enough that this stuff we'll look back on it and it will feel out of date. It doesn't necessarily feel out of date right now. It feels pretty on the button, or right on the nose.
I agree. No, I liked what I saw. I liked what they presented. Now you already have the people who are like dissecting it bit by bit, and they're finding like little glitches here where when he goes in to get the beer out of the fridge, the beer just magnetically goes into his hand like he's fucking Magneto.
And
or
it's
like
not a
the
problem,
guy,
but it's but I notice it more.
Sure, but we also don't know how old this footage is, and they're going to be shining that thing until it releases. They'll be doing QA on this, It's like people are expecting DLSS 5 level realism, let's say, and that's just not what this is. It was also base PS5. We don't know if there's pro enhancements. We don't know what they're doing, or if they're even going to prioritize that at launch, or if it
they have
comes
not
later.
talked about. They said they're not talking about the enhancements, although you hear that like, so there are enhancements, and of course there will be. But they've not mentioned that. A couple other things before we get into some of these more structured stories about this. The interactivity, the responsiveness of the world to how you handle the character. So one thing is, there is that honor system you mentioned, and it seems like it's going to, like, similar to Red Dead Redemption 2, be following how violent you are, and the world will sort of respond to you based on that. So if you go on these big mayhem chases, sounds like, you could get a little bit more punished than you would otherwise if you do it frequently. And it's like, well, I want to be able to just go have some fun. But then I hear like the way some of this other stuff works. And it's like, well, no, this sounds like maybe the way I want it to work, where there's a real crime and punishment system being simulated here. So if you walk down the sidewalk with a gun, people will notice. And if you have your face showing, they'll remember your face. So you put up the mask, and that gives you a chance to hide your face. But they might still remember your clothes. And people were pointing out on the star thing, so up to 6 stars.
Yes.
There's like these little emblems below that like represents your car, and seemingly it seems to represent your car, your clothes, your face, all these things. And it's like if you go to change your clothes in the middle of that might drop off and might help you escape, the people chasing you. So that's a more robust system that I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that has me thinking about fun ways I can interact with that in the way that I often enjoy these games, which is as a sandbox with a lot of mods installed eventually on PC years from now, but still a sandbox. And I'll have some fun with it on console that way for sure. So yeah, I am willing to start getting optimistic about this game because, like I said, they met the baseline bargain. Looks expensive, looks like more Grand Theft Auto, than ever before. All right, so how deep does it go? That's going to be the question I have when I finally get my hands on the controller, Jason.
Yeah, I agree. And how, like, they were already talking about, like, somebody asked them, I think it was first of all, shout out to Greg and Andy at Kind of Funny. They did a 3-hour podcast with 26 pages of notes from their time in Scotland. And one of the things they were talking about was at one point, Jason in their demo came up against a tennis court. Now that was a big thing. Grand Theft Auto 5, you could play tennis as Michael or as any of them, I think. But here he just picks up the ball, whacks it, and goes away. There's no more tennis because tennis doesn't really fit this character. It fit the hoity-toity Michael stuff from Grand Theft Auto 5. It doesn't fit here. So what sort of extra side activities are there that fit Jason? I also selfishly am very interested in how they'll call back to their other games. I love that shit. I love the Easter eggs to their like that Arby's ad, that fake Arby's
Red Dead
ad.
Redemption 2 stuff.
It was a Red Dead Redemption 2 Vista or River. Somebody found it where it is in game, but they haven't, like, I don't know where it is on the map. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. Like, that's the kind of thing I really like. Jason also looks suspiciously like Arthur Morgan. I don't know if anybody else has picked up on that. So I wonder if they'll make that connection.
They will not. I bet they won't shy away from it. Yeah, they'll probably make some reference, very subtle reference to that or something.
Yeah, like his name's Duval now, but his great grandpappy was Morgan and didn't know his dad or whatever. But that is all cool. I also love, and I'm not just saying this because I was the one that reported it, but also on the Kind of Funny Games cast, they straight up asked if there would be microtransactions, and they said no.
Yes.
They straight up asked if generative AI was in the game, and they said no. That's awesome. I've already had people in my Blue Sky mentions like, well, what do you call the digital deluxe edition? That's not a microtransaction. That's an enhanced edition that you're paying more for when you get in the door. It's
people do that same thing they do with couch co-op or like any sort of game with co-op or competitive play. They call that couch co-op, and now they're calling DLC microtransactions. Yeah, these are very different things. We have different words for different reasons.
Yeah, and I know Gen AI. You don't have to worry about the DLSS 5 yassification of Lucia, who doesn't really need it. Just based on what we saw, she's plenty yassed up. She seems awesome.
She's very cool. I mean, like, I'll say that, like, she's much better compared to Jason in terms of I find it charming. I don't know if I was like ever like really won over by their personalities in any scene. But Lucia was nice to look at. Like, she's got style.
Yeah, the best reaction I saw on social media belongs to Blessing Jr. from Kind of Funny. He just said, if you look like Lucia, please contact me. It's important. That's all it said.
It's an emergency. Yes.
It's an emergency.
And then I did see the bit of Greg being like, you could fall out of love with the characters. It's like, there's no falling out of love with Lucia.
No.
So he's down bad. He's down bad, and I understand it.
And it's already been, and somebody mentioned this in chat earlier, it's been very strange to listen to criticism and reactions to this where people are saying, Jason sounds like shit. Jason sucks. What's wrong with this Jason guy? And as someone who cares what people think of him, it has been nerve-wracking. I hate it.
I will say, like, there is, I think the most likely scenario here is they went to the part of Florida that Jason is supposed to be from.
Oh,
and that's what the dudes talk like there.
That is a Fort Lauderdale boy, Tamarack boy, if I have ever seen one.
Florida Georgia Line, the band turning back into one man, and yeah, I think that's what happened here. So, but that doesn't mean I enjoy listening to it. It was
no. It's but yeah, and someone else said this too. I just want to point this out too. It's not so much the game itself, right? It's the moment. Yeah. This is a seminal moment for video games from a huge mainstream standpoint. Somebody else was going on about for every article you write about GTA, you should write 2 about indies. First of all, it's not going to pay the bills, pal. I would love to do that. Secondly, you have to understand the reason that like GameSpot's approach was to write breakout news stories for all the little tidbits that came out, because it'll get those views in, it'll bring in the money, and they'll be able, like, we're competing with not just IGN and not just GamesBeat and all the other websites. We're competing with the goddamn New York Times.
Yep.
This is a different playing field, and you have to understand why it's happening the way it is. It's fatiguing. Don't get me wrong. We are it's like Expedition 33 when you look out over the paintress, over the vista at the paintress with the number, but instead of the paintress and the number, it's just the Rockstar logo.
Yeah, it's unavoidable.
With Grand Theft Auto coming at you. You can't not see it. It's and we have to, and media has to act accordingly. They just have to. You
know, Andy Cortez was on the Dan Lebitard show today.
That's crazy,
right? And that's because
Jordan Miner was on CBS News.
Yeah,
and that's so cool.
That is what this game is. It does represent the entire spotlight of the media apparatus turning to video games for that one time a decade that they do that. And a lot of times they'll do that when it's, hey, this Cyberpunk game seems like it's on fire. Oh my God, what's going on over there? And this is, that could still happen. But somebody in my Blue Sky mentions likened it to Elden Ring, how that was sort of like a seminal moment. The difference is, mainstream media played catch up to Elden Ring. We knew it would be a big deal. They did not. Now they're on equal footing. Grand Theft Auto is a household name. So it does not surprise me that we are already in a fever pitch, 3 months away from launch? Yep. And it'd be a different thing if this was like Call of Duty, where a lot of people play Call of Duty every year, but it comes out every year. If Grand Theft Auto came out every year, it wouldn't feel this way. This is the first time a new game has come out in this series in 13 years. Yeah, 13 years. 13 years. September of 2013, that was. And then when this game comes out, we could start the 25-year countdown to GTA 7. So there it is. All right. Last thing here about Grand Theft Auto. 30 frames per second on console. You could see it in the Netflix video if you were looking for it, for sure. But I thought it looked pretty rock solid. And as someone who always wants 60 frames per second, of course it runs at 30 frames per second. Of course it does. Look at this thing. Did you see the rest of it? Yeah. If you were expecting anything more than 30 frames a second, I don't know what to tell you. And that's not to you. That's I was never expecting anything more than 30 frames per second. But yes, if people are out there, it's like, that's one, they were never going to do that. But you just look at the thing. There's no way. And the fact, people on the other side of that, people are going like, I can't believe this is running on a PS5. And I'll just remind people, Red Dead Redemption 2 was on a PS4. Yes, correct. And an Xbox One. And I'll remind people once again, those consoles sucked. They were awful. They were terrible for running video games. It's just like, they had a lot of great games on them because that you could still do that. But that was awful hardware. But if you have all the time and money in the world, we were already at a point on the PS4 and Xbox One where a game can just look stunning, can look like The Last of Us Part 2 or whatever. It can look amazing if you have all the time and the money in the world. they have all the time and the money relative to the rest of the industry. They can make something that looks like this run on a PS5. Of course they can. The PS5 is really strong hardware, but they're gonna let it just be 30 frames per second. I'll say everything they showed in that Netflix special looked like it was a good, locked, solid 30 frames per second. I will say there is no performance mode at launch. Give us a 40 frames per second mode. That is such a good middle ground if you have a 120 hertz TV or something like that. But maybe we'll get to that eventually.
Yeah.
All right. Let's wrap up the GTA 6 news here with Cyberleek's GTA 6 leak flood looks to have ended in the most unsurprising way possible with a $250,000 crypto rug pull. This is from Austin Wood at Games Radar. Cyberleek, who had been leaking GTA 6 stuff for the last 2-3 weeks, went silent yesterday, and everyone noticed that he seemed to have cashed out of his Solana-backed cryptocurrency Cyberleek. And he seems like he transferred $250,000 worth into separate wallets all through the day yesterday. And yeah, so that's just money put in his pocket. Now, not the biggest rug pull. You know, there's been like 10-year-olds that did rug pulls that got them like $50 million or some shit like that. So this seems like the risk reward might be a little bit off here because Rockstar will hunt this person to the corners of the earth. But yeah, I think there's a reason that number is relatively so low. And it's because everyone involved was like, I'm not going to buy this thing that's obviously going to get rug pulled. I'm not going to put my money into this cryptocurrency. But yeah, I imagine this person probably will just like go away now, although maybe they just leak the build and let everyone access that. But why continue to poke the beast if you already got the money that you really did all this for, right?
Did he have a build?
I mean, we don't know for sure.
He said he did. Yeah. Did he have a build? Because a lot of things, people were realizing most of the things he was showing in this footage were things that were in the Netflix special.
There was a lot of stuff in Netflix, but it was, right. But there was the one where he shot Leek into a wall with a gun. L-E-E-K.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
It's like, that's the one that made people think. And look, he might not, but he might have. Seems like there's a chance he did. But yes, there was definitely stuff I noticed. Wait, that was, we did the Spider-Man point or the Leo point. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that this was all about the crypto. Of course it was. As soon as the first thing had the ad in it, I knew that where this was going, and most people probably did. As virtuous and Robin Hood-esque that they want this guy to be, no, he was in it for the money. And I agree with you. There are not enough zeros on that number for it to be worth it. That's like the opening statements of the trial when it finally happens. That money's not going to go very far. He better be, putting it in an account with some interest, or maybe investing in other Bitcoin or something, because that just seems so low.
Yep,
it seems like it. I would have. That's a very low reward for such a high risk. I don't envy this fella at all. I hope they know what they're doing. I hope they know what they're doing, because if they don't, when Rockstar, and I do say when Rockstar inevitably finds them, because I do think they're going to find them, it's not going to go well for that person. They're going to get every piece of the law book thrown at them, and then whatever happens, happens. But the people who were singing this guy's praises and calling him like a vigilante, stick it to the corpos, yeah, I get that, but that's not what this guy was doing.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Even there was people in the middle ground that were like, we got to separate the message from the messenger. His message is still good. It's like, I don't know, I'm looking at this. Seems pretty stupid. No.
Those people read Harry Potter, I bet.
Who gives a shit? Yeah. All right. Let's wrap up the news story with these next two headlines. Elden Ring on Switch 2 launches today. Has an 88 on OpenCritic. I think it's even better on Metacritic. The consensus here is they really did get it working very well. The people who reviewed it said, hey, in terms of performance, it is exactly where you would want it, with the expectation of like what the Switch 2 is factored in. And really everyone is comparing it very favorably to that original debut version of it that we saw much earlier this year, which was in a very rough state and completely unacceptable in terms of performance. So this is music to the ears of anyone who's like, hey, always wanted to play this on Switch 2. This might be the ideal way actually to play it on a handheld format.
Yeah, that was my first thought. Hearing these glowing reviews, I was like, "Wait a minute! I thought the build was really bad. What happened?" They figured it out. That's great. Hopefully they can learn from this for future games, or maybe even consult with other studios that might want to port their games to the Switch too. Because as we talked about earlier, with the tariffs from Team Dipshit, the Switch 2 is slowly becoming the cheapest way to play video games in general.
Yeah.
So if people can port their games to the Switch 2 in a way like they did, then it just makes the Switch 2 that much more valuable. I think people will be more willing to splurge on a Switch 2 at the price it's at with a vast library of games than they would for a Series X or a PlayStation 5. Definitely not a PS Pro, right?
No.
So I think this is valuable learning from Software that they figured it out and how they figured it out, and they can pass that on to other people. Capcom seems to know. They've seemed to figure it out with Requiem and Pragmata and their other games. Not sure about Onimusha yet. That we'll find out soon enough, I suppose. But yeah, this is good news. Good news for Switch fans. Good news for From. It's good stuff.
Yeah, this has two new starting classes: Heavy Knight and Idis Knight. And Heavy Knight's like very defense, very strong, and then Idis Knight's very nimble. But apparently these will get you going very fast. People are calling them OP classes, so that could be fun. If I want to like blaze through this game fast for a second playthrough, that might be the way to do it.
Heavy Knight might work for me because I turtle everything anyway. So I'm just please don't hurt me. I'm a small boy.
Sword and board is an acceptable way to play these games. Absolutely. All right, then. Most important news story of the day.
Yes, this is the one. You stayed till the end. This is the main event, everyone.
You earned this. You stayed with us this whole week through all of the repetitive Grand Theft Auto news. You're good boys and girls, so you get this special reward. 92% of new Metal Gear Solid 4 players immediately destroyed that statue's dick. 91.8% of players, having waited nearly 20 years for Metal Gear Solid 4 to be playable on anything other than PS3, booted the game and immediately made a beeline for a statue's dick. And remember, like early on in the game.
So I watched this just to remind myself.
Yes.
So early in the game, in Act 1, there's a place where you're trying to get to Otacon, and there's these statues, and one kind of looks like David. There's another one that's like kneeled over with no head, and because Snake's suit can change color to whatever he's touching, they do this little thing, very Kojima-esque, where you can pose next to the statue, and Snake happens to grab onto the David statue's dong, and that's what it uses to change his camo's color. If you detach and reattach Snake over and over again, it'll snap the dick off, and then you get the achievement or handle with caution. So 91.8% of players who are playing Metal Gear Solid 4
are slapping that dick until it falls off.
Grabbed the dick and twisted it. That's what they did.
The old dick twist.
So good.
Yeah, this is what gaming should be. This is the ideal. This is what we all aspire to. I'm so glad that we're here. This is the true feel-good news story of the week.
This is true journalism. Take a hike, Rebecca Valentine. I kid, of course.
Just till you come back with some real news.
I kid, of course. That story she did about John Big Walk for Kotaku. I don't know if you read that one.
I did, yeah.
Phenomenal story. I was smiling the whole time.
It's Rebecca Valentine, of course. It's a great story. All right, that does it for the headlines. Let's get to the poll question from yesterday. You get the most recent results over here on Opera GX, the gamer browser. Let's see here. Have you ever played Metal Gear Solid 4? Yes or no? If you have, we know what you were doing in there. I actually have never played it. This is going to be my opportunity to do so. 58% yes, 42% no. So here's our opportunity, everybody. Let's get in there and rectify that.
I was an OG. I played it on the, in fact, I borrowed a friend's PS3 to play it because I owned the game. Like I pre-ordered the game and bought it, but didn't have a PS3 yet. So he let me borrow his PS3 because he wasn't using it. And then I played it, and then I gave it back, and then I got my own PS3 and I played it again. I can't believe I haven't bought this new version yet. I have to do that. Hello, remap. So this is cool. I am going to be one of the 91.8% of players who earn that achievement. I'm going to grab the dick and twist it.
We're gonna break off the penis in Metal Gear Solid 4 the way God intended. All right. So that's the poll question. No new poll question because it's Friday. We're going to do the Bomb 12 instead here in a little bit. So let's get everything else put with a nice bow on top. That includes Jason Fanelli. Tell people where they can find you on the internet, what you have going on, all that good stuff.
JasonFanelli.com on Blue Sky, Big Man Fanelli on Instagram. Just covering, did the GTA story yesterday over at GameSpot. Recently reviewed Marvel Tokon for them, Madden 27 for IGN. You can hear my dulcet tones doing their video review, which is pretty cool. I can officially confirm because they allow us to do so. I am reviewing Wolverine for MMORPG.com. So you'll see that.
Oh, we're allowed to say that?
Yes, you are allowed to say that you are.
Yeah.
You're allowed to say you're playing it. You're allowed to show a picture of the initial press X to start screen, but that's it. Yeah, and shout out to PlayStation for letting us say that. It's a weird thing to say, but when everyone's like, you can't tell anyone you're playing this game, like, come on, dipshit. Everyone knows this game's coming out. They're not dumb.
Right. It helps to just tell people, hey, yeah, we're going to have the coverage that you keep asking about. It's it is nice. You're right.
Yeah, so I am playing that. I am also about to, and you might like this. I'm about to review a PC.
Oh, really?
For the first time, I have a pre-built iBuyPower RDY Element 9 Pro over there. I got to get it out of the box. It's got a Ryzen 7 7800 in it, a Radeon RX 9070, 32 gigs of RAM, 2 terabyte storage, motherboard's Asus B650.
Oh, yeah.
So first time I've ever done anything like this, also for MMORPG.
That's right. It's no main gear. That's right.
Yeah, all right. Look, I know who your sponsors are, but I got approached by them. All right. The editor came to me. I'm not just trying to shill. I'm just I'm shilling my work, not the product. There's a difference.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to hearing about your experience,
I've
man.
Never done anything like that before, so it should be fun. But yep, that's what I got going on over here.
Very cool. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Let's talk about what's happening on Giant Bomb. Stick around right after this, everybody, because the season finale of Pokemon Day Night Combat is kicking off. Sean and Jan will be doing the final show because I believe Worlds is happening. It's like getting spooled up right now in SF.
It's today. Today is day one.
Yes. So
there have been like events, and the Pokemon Center opened a couple days ago. They did a Pokemon night at the Giants game, I think, last night. But today is day one of Worlds, which means Sunday you'll probably get. What's going on here?
No, go. Yeah, I'm just getting ready for the next bit. Yeah,
Sunday will be not only the finals, but probably more news. You might see some wins and waves stuff. They saved that for Sunday before the VGC top 8. Very excited. I love Pokemon Worlds. I was there 3 years ago in Japan. I haven't been back since, but it's always a good time. I hope anyone who's out there is having fun. And looking forward to all the coverage from that.
And then we'll have UPF later today. We're going to be playing some fun stuff on there. And then after that, at 6 p.m. Eastern, for premium members, go to giantbomb.com/join, become a premium member, hang out for Giant Bomb Video, the rental store out of time, Weekend Rental Club convenes. I got my shirt that I'll be wearing.
Wow.
My 90s shirt. We do have some merch in the works for this, but it's not going to be ready for this one, but we'll have it ready soon, everybody. So we got some 90s stuff ready to go. So get your Jolt Colas, get your Dunkaroos, get your pizza. Let's hang out and have a good time playing some N64 games that we'll rent from Giant Bomb Video that never actually came out. It's going to be a lot of fun.
That part is very it's confusing me. So
look, Mario Kart 65 is here and we have it and we're going to be playing it.
What are you talking about?
You have to show up and see. Everyone's going to have to tune in and see for themselves. It's
6 p.m. Eastern.
It's going to be real cool. I might have sent the rental cases to the guys with the cover art and everything. It was a lot of fun to put together. So tune in for that. We'll hang out. We'll wrap up this very busy week with that very cool stream. And thanks to everybody.
Flutie, not Banjo and Kazooie. It's Loot and Flutie.
Next time I might I don't have it for this one, but maybe next time we do this, I might do Celeste 64. That's
that's cool.
Yeah, so there's some cool stuff, everybody. Let's see what we can do this time, though. All right, so that's happening. That's Giant Bomb, and a bunch of cool stuff happened on the site this week. Go check out the quick look for Star Wars Zero Company. Chuck did an excellent job on that. We'll have more coverage of games very soon. Will and Dan have been out in Germany trying games. They've been like putting up little social clips about their thoughts on it. More will be coming. It's been great to like just hear their coverage bit by bit as we've been keeping up with them in Discord and stuff like that. So yeah, very cool things happening at Giant Bomb because so many of you are supporting us. We appreciate that. So we'll be back with next week with a whole bunch more. But before we do that, we have to do one more thing. It's time for the Bomb 12, everybody. These are the 12 games that really matter to people who are really playing video games. And this week, it is brought to you by videogame.town, everyone. So thank you to videogame.town for bringing the Bomb 12. Let's get into it now with number 12, Metal Gear Solid 4. They just got a hold of it. They're playing it. I bet it's even higher next week. Number 11 is Pragmata. Number 10 is Cicada Mata, which is one I need to play. I'm looking at this game. It is like it is a first-person shooter sort of thing with the heart of a speedrunning game. It is just like go fast, go fast, go fast. So okay, I need to play that. Number 9 is Marathon. Shout outs to the Marathon crew who just keep playing that one. Number 8 is Splatoon Raiders. Number 7 is Mortal Shell 2. Number 6 is Star Wars Zero Company, which again, that's another one that will certainly be higher next week. People just got their hands on that yesterday, I believe. Number 5 is Fields of Mystria. Number 4, Final Fantasy 14. Then number 3 is Blood Dungeon. Number 2 is Big Walk.
Oh no!
And number 1.
Did they do it? Is it done? No.
Is Fox Quest 2. You did it. All right, everybody. Can we be real now? Can we look each other in the eyes? You did it. All right. We can end this now. We can let another game shine. Fox Quest 2 reached the top of the mountain. There is nowhere else to go from here. I beg you. We're done.
Big Walk walked.
Yeah.
So Fox Quest 2 could fly.
Congratulations, you goddamn animals. You got Fox Quest 2 to number 1. Let's see what happens again next week on the Bomb 12. Shit. When we do this all again, I'll get the website updated, giantbomb.com. If you scroll down, you're going to see Fox Quest 2 is number 1 on the Bomb 12 right there. To the left of Fox Quest 2 will be a vote here button. Click on that. It'll take you to a Google form where you'll be able to submit your game for consideration for inclusion on next week's Bomb 12 on next Friday. But until then, it's time to get out of here. Jason Fanelli, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about video games, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Grubb. Enjoy your Fox Quest, everybody.
Thank you all for watching. That's right. We need to retire it like Corn's Freak on a Leash. Total Request Live style. That's right. We got to get Carson Daly in here to show us how things are done. Thank you all for watching and listening. You're the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself and goodbye.
Holy shit.